So we obviously have two awesome conference finals matchups going on right now. But full disclosure, as a Mavs fan, this is my game 7 right here. This is my personal finals that I'm looking forward to, and I, quite frankly, have been looking forward to for a couple of months now. It's been a rough year. I think the same goes for these fans right here. We haven't had much to celebrate, and so this is, the NBA draft is our favorite time of year, at least for this year. But all jokes aside, I do enjoy the NBA draft, the combine, summer league, all that stuff. I find really intriguing. Seeing the stars of tomorrow, if you will, is always really interesting, and it's unpredictable as well. Draft night, we always end up seeing a trade here and there. Guys jump up into the top 10, guys maybe fall. It's gonna be, like I said, really interesting. So, a little over a month away. We have had the lottery, we have had the combine in Chicago. I think it's fair to say a fairly uneventful lottery, at least compared to last year. I think the biggest story, probably, Indiana losing their pick to LA, or Chicago jumping into the top 4. This is, of course, a bitter pill to swallow. If you're Indiana, it sucks, but this is what you took into account when trading for Zubac, and quite frankly, Indiana doesn't need another top 4 pick. They're a really well-run franchise, at least from the outside looking in. Made the finals last year, and they've kept pretty much everyone together. Like I said, they've got Zubac now. Halliburton is coming back. With how open the East currently is, I think Indiana is going to be right back up there next year as far as contenders, at least to make the finals. So, this is something that Indiana fans, I can imagine, cried about on the night, but the next morning I think they were feeling a lot better because that their team is going to be fine. I think a little bit more disappointing is the result for Brooklyn and Sacramento. Man, especially Brooklyn, man, they just keep dropping. Year after year, they just can't really get any sort of luck going. And these two franchises are in need of a star badly. They don't just need a good player. With all due respect, they need a face of the franchise. So, this one's tough. New Orleans, of course, their pick gets conveyed to Atlanta due to the Derek Queen trade from last year. I still wouldn't do that trade. I think not a lot of people were a fan of that trade when it happened. It has not, as awesome as Derek Queen is, it has not aged well up until now. We'll of course have to see who Atlanta get with this pick, but that just seemed a bit crazy. I'm gonna be honest, but hey, it's New Orleans. They've done a lot of crazy things. Nonetheless, Dallas. I wasn't psyched to drop to 9, but it will do. It will do. I think, with how deep this draft class is, we're pretty much guaranteed to get a solid rotation piece at the very least. So, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at this at all. Especially considering next year we don't have a pick at all. So we gotta make this one count. And this one. Number 30. pretty interesting. The team with the worst record ended up being rewarded with the number one pick. I think this might be the last time we see this with the new lottery reform that Adam Silver's trying to put into place. Basically, from what I've been able to gather, it just flattens the odds even more, and it punishes the worst of the worst. If you're sort of a mediocre team that's sort of teetering between, play-in and bottom of the league, I think you're gonna have the best odds. And the play-in teams, I believe, have the second best odds. Again, I don't have the best grasp of the situation, but I think that's what it's gonna kind of be like. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it actually works. I'm undecided. I'm undecided on that yet. Yeah, but let's see. This mock draft situation, I cannot tell you how many times I spun this simulator over the past couple weeks. Very much got my hopes up. Very much was wishing upon, our lucky star from last year that got us Cooper Flag. Maybe, was I being greedy? Absolutely. But maybe I was thinking maybe we can get another cheeky top 4 pick. It didn't happen. It's cool. Like I said, number 9, we will make work. But so I think it's a pretty poorly kept secret of who the top 4 are going to be. I don't think we're going to see any surprises there. This is likely how it's going to shake out. AJ, with his measurables, with his athleticism, pretty much your ideal star prospect. If you could make one in a lab, 6'9", 3-level scorer, has that two-way potential as well. Yeah, and considering the need for the needs that Washington has, I don't think they necessarily need a Boozer or a Caleb Wilson. So yeah, DeBonce at number 1. Let's be honest. I mean, we can talk about this all day. No matter how this top 4 shakes out, it's absolutely fine. I don't think you can pick wrong. All these 4 guys are absolute blue chippers. So, I mean, it's like it comes down to what you prefer. Knock yourself, pick your poison. You know what I mean? 5 to 10 is where it really gets interesting, because we sort of have this group of guards here where there's a lot of debate and a lot of differing opinions. Wagler, Flemings, Acuff, Burries, and Mikel Brown Jr. We also have Feinlon, who I think, not a bad player at all, but I think he sort of fell out of that group just because he didn't stand out in any specific way in the combine, and he's obviously on the lighter side. I do believe that these 5 are in their own way, all in their own way, better than Phylon. So it's unfortunate, but we'll see if this is how it actually ends up turning out. I think Keaton, with his positional size, is likely going to go 5. I think he feels a need for LA. I don't know what the Clippers are necessarily planning next year. They have Darius Garland. I think he has 2 years remaining on his deal. They have Mathurin. They obviously still have Kawhi, but he's on an expiring. Do you just go full rebuild? Do you try to retool this thing and make it work? They do have a lot of tradable contracts. They do have a lot of money, free money available to them next year, so we'll see. But I think that's either going to be a Wagler or a handcuff. Then Brooklyn, like I said, they need a star. They need a face in the franchise badly, and I think they're just gonna go for upside. Whoever's available. Again, it could be Wagler, it could be Acuff, it could be Mikel Brown, who raised a lot of eyebrows during the combine. The only if we're talking about pros and cons, the only con with him is his back injury. It's kind of iffy. It's kind of is this a thing that's gonna linger? But as long as his medicals check out, I think Mikel is gonna go much higher than 9. Unfortunately for myself and everyone in Mavs land, I don't think that he falls to 9. But then again, do we think that it's just gonna be 5 or 5 straight guards after the top 4, or is someone gonna move in? Someone like an Adai Mara, someone like a Yaxel, someone like a Cameron Carr, again, had a great combine week. Morris Johnson Jr., Hannes Steinbach, these are all guys that could potentially make the jump. Of course, as far as trades, there's been rumblings out of OKC that they want to trade their 2 picks, 12 and 17, to get into the top 10. Who this possible suitors? Mavs, Atlanta, Kings, maybe. I don't know. But yeah. Did we talk about Darian Peterson and Boozer? I think Peterson, the only drawback with him is this, similar to Mikel Brown. He missed a bit of time last year. It was apparently because of a creatine experiment, as he was having cramps. Bit of an odd situation, but I think he'll be fine long term. Obviously, again, at the guard position, 6'6", that's the direction the league is going. You gotta have guys that can play both sides of the ball and can't be hunted. Those smaller guards, it's tough to build around them unless you're an absolute flamethrower, like Mitchell, for example, Brunson, Kyrie. Unless you're one of those guys, it's just really difficult to build a contender around those smaller guards. So Darian Peterson again brings everything to the table that you could want from a modern one, and he'll be good in Utah. Utah are an interesting one because I don't know. I think we can all agree that they're gonna be better next year, but I don't know how much better. They traded for Triple J. They got Lowry. They of course got Keontae. A couple of young pieces. But they have been losing for a couple of years now, and they say losing is a stench. It may take a while to wash that off. Again, I'm not doubting Utah at all. I think they have to have playoff ambitions next year. But again, are they going to be able to put it together immediately? What is Darian Peterson going to look like in that group? There may be some growing pains. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the Jazz are going to be in this position again next year. The rebuild is definitely over. They are set now. But we'll have to see how much of a jump they can make in the standings next year. Boozer, in any other draft class, would probably go number 1. Had a historic year at Duke, incredibly efficient. 250 NBA ready body. I wouldn't mind taking him at number 1 actually, but I guess Wizards, they got AD, or depending on how you see it, the AD is under contract with them. Whether he will be on the floor That's another question, but he'll end up going to the Grizzlies. At least it seems that way. Great fit, him and Zach Edey. That's looking fun, and obviously we still have yet to see John Morant be traded. I mean, the Miami Heat thing, that just sort of seems like it's a matter of time, no? I can't really see any other team trading for Morant. The Heat are sort of in this desperate position where they got Bam and they don't really want to. They don't want to rebuild, right? So I can imagine Tyler Hero in some sort of form going the other way. But we'll see. We'll see. The off season is long. And then Caleb Wilson going to the Bulls. Like I said, I love Caleb Wilson. Had a great year at North Carolina, then injured his hand, unfortunately. But yeah, that dude can guard. And it's obviously going to take him a while to find his footing, just like every rookie. But I think Caleb Wilson, he's definitely a guy you can build around. From a Mavs perspective, we'll end the video like this. From a Mavs perspective, I'd be happy with whatever. Honestly, I don't really have one prospect that I'm honing in on. I think Flemings is awesome. Super athletic, crazy vertical. Braden Burries is probably the most NBA ready guard of the bunch. 250, 6'5". Can play the one and the two. And a lot of, from what I'm hearing, a lot of scouts believe that he's going to be a better pro than he was college player. So, and plus his name is alliterative. It's very fun to say, Braden Burries. Yeah. We will see. We will see. I don't see him going to Atlanta, honestly. I think he's either going to go before that, or Atlanta take a Mara. 7'4", by the way, crazy size. The big fella. Cameron Carr. Did I mention him? Cameron Carr is another guy that's really interesting. But yeah, unfortunately, we're still well over a month away. Gotta be a little bit more patient with it. And yeah. This range is going to be interesting too, because this is pretty much every mock draft I've seen has a completely different order. We shall see. We shall see. As always.